Alright guys, today I want to do a little bit different video. First off, I want to apologize for the sunglasses. It's actually hot as hell here in Arizona, and it's also bright as hell. I'm not going to sit out here in my truck in hot ass weather and try to do a video regards to carrying, or just a video in general, and sweat my balls off, or sit out here all squinty eyed. So to the point is, I wanted to do a carry video that steps outside the bounds of most everyday carry options. You know, we always talk about holsters in the waistband, outside the waistband, purse, no purse, backpack, you know, other shit like that. We don't talk a lot about carrying inside of a vehicle, which I think is a crucial point that everybody needs to kind of discuss, because the reality is, at least my reality as someone who works for a living and has carried for many years, you don't always carry in the best of circumstances. You're not going to come home at the end of a long day of work, take off all your crap, grab a beer, sit down, and then have that be the moment your wife tells you, hey, guess what, honey? We don't have any food for the kids. I didn't take anything out of the freezer. Can you run up to McDonald's and get some chicken nuggets? Well, guess what? You're going to go get the chicken nuggets because the kids need to eat, and you're not going to want to sit there for 5 minutes throwing on your Crossbreed Super Tuck Deluxe and a belt and all this other shit when you know damn good and well you're going to get in your car, you're going to drive straight there, and you're going to drive straight back. But if you have a self-defense mindset, you're going to still want to bring your gun with you. A lot of times that may result in you just sticking in your waistband or something else. Maybe you have a paddle holster, which is, I have one of those myself. And I've talked about it in other places where, what you're doing kind of dictates what holster you carry. But you're going to carry in your vehicle. There's no way around that. Now, for me, when it gets down to the point where I'm going to carry in my vehicle, you want to follow certain things. Because certain areas, it's legal. Other areas, it's not. You're going to be the one that determines what, how, and when, and what legalities you're going to encounter. You know where you live. I don't. Where I live, it's legal. So, first off, the first thing that you want to keep in mind is where you keep your gun in your vehicle. Now, the worst thing that a lot of people can do is you'll put your license and your registration in the same spot that you're going to put your gun. Big no-no, because if you get pulled over, you want to declare the weapon to any law enforcement officer that pulls you over, but more so than that, you don't want to have to reach for your license and registration while reaching for your gun, because you're basically inviting a weapon that the officer's probably going to point at you to keep his own ass safe, or you're going to get exited out of your vehicle. All of which can be avoided by simply separating your license and registration. That's one entity that should be in one glove box, and then in the center console or a second glove box. I happen to have a truck, for example, that has two glove boxes. I also have a center console. So, now, I like to personally keep my firearm in my center console, because that puts it in immediate arm's reach. It also makes it easy because guess what? The license and registration are separated, right? So in that sense, if I get pulled over, officer walks up, hey, stopped you for speeding, which they really don't fucking do around here in Arizona. People drive at like 95 miles an hour. Highway patrol doesn't give a shit. Anyways, my point being, he pulls me over, license and registration. I'm going to reach across over my gun to the glove box. Will I declare the weapon to him? Yeah, officer, I'm carrying, I should let you know I am carrying concealed. Weapons in my center console. License and registration is in my glove box. Do you mind if I go for it? Always ask permission, guys. Don't just start reaching for shit. Never ever reach for shit. Anybody who carries concealed, if you're taking a class, that's going to be the first thing they tell you, is that when you're stopped by law enforcement, make sure your hands are visible. If you're in the right, you should have nothing to worry about. And unless you look like a shithead and act like a shithead, and if you don't know what a shithead looks like, you're probably a shithead. And if you don't know what a shithead acts like, you're probably a shithead. So you should be concerned if you don't know what a shithead looks like or acts like. You really don't have any problems to worry about. Now, the other thing that I recommend, guys, when it comes to carrying your weapon concealed is that if you're inside your vehicle, is that in addition to keeping them separate, your license and registration separated, you also want to have the weapon handy and in a spot where you can easily reach. It's part of the reason I don't keep my weapon in my glove box in the passenger side of the vehicle, because the reality is if I'm going to get carjacked, it'll probably be when I'm at an intersection. It's probably going to be when I'm stopped somewhere. It's going to be where I'm at a spot where someone can walk up on me, and I may not. Granted, I'm going to be aware. Situational awareness is the best weapon that a carrier can have. But you want the weapon within arm's reach. That's why I keep it in my center console. Okay? I basically am driving around with my hand on my gun by resting my hand on my center console. I'm one of those types, guys. There's a lot of other things to consider. You know, if you're worried about being searched and you want to carry the weapon different places, you know, I forget the elements of the penal code and shit like that, you know, with what's within immediate reach of you. Those will be elements that, you know, can be searched if you have a shithead in you. But again, these videos aren't for shitheads. If you're planning to do illegal shit, I actually hope that you get caught. If you're planning to do shit where, you know, it's within the Constitution, but you live in a tyrannical state, God bless you, good luck. You know, every man has the right to disobey inappropriate laws, I guess, if you will. But that's not legal advice. So, end of the day, guys, this video is about carrying for the purpose of self-defense, not carrying for transportation. I do not recommend having your guns in any place that's visible. Now, you got some areas like the side of your door here. You got places, I've seen people put them underneath, yeah, those are chips, or not chips, cereal. I don't recommend putting your weapon in a spot where you can see it. Okay, you're asking for a lot of problems from people walking by, from homeless that are going to be stopped at an intersection, etc., etc., etc. It's unnecessary attention. It's unnecessary problems. You get pulled over. You run into any issues whatsoever. Having the gun in a visible spot, whether it's legal or not, is just stupid. I've seen the videos of the guys sticking them in between their seats, the pictures of the guys who've screwed the holsters onto their dashboards. It all looks cool, guys, but unless you live out literally in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, where you will never ever encounter a cop because you own 6,000 square acres, I wouldn't do shit like that, because it's just needless attention. I am a proponent of open carry, but I'm not a proponent of open carry inside of a vehicle unless it's going to actually be on your hip in a holster. Don't just leave your gun laying around. All of that's just going to create a negative situation when you have to deal with a cop someday. Just believe it'll be a matter of when, not if. You know, keep the weapon concealed. Let the cops know where it's at. Keep your license and registration separate from it. Don't do stupid shit when you're carrying. Listen, we've all sped. I've owned a very, very fast car before. I had a really nice Mustang that I used to drive like I stole it, okay? But when I drove that way, I didn't carry a weapon in the car, okay? Don't act stupid. You won't have stupid shit happen. I'm a pretty big proponent of you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, guys. All right, that's all I got for you. Carry safe, be smart. God bless.